Hey, all right. Welcome to the latest, the greatest. Today is September the 8th. This is my crypto journal entry for today. As you can see, market cap is almost back up to $1 trillion. The volume is higher than it has been the past few days. We're at 52 billion, whereas usually when I've been reporting, we've been at 48, 46. The most exciting bit of news today right here is 36.78% Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is falling. We don't know how hard, but it is relatively low, especially in comparison. All right, let's see what's trending. There's lots of talk about securities and regulatory stuff, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm ignoring it. I'm ignoring news because it's just bloviations, and I'm watching the way the markets are rolling because that's the real news. It's not what Gensler wants to talk about. It's not what anybody Powell or anybody else wants to sit there and say. It's definitely nothing about any of the crypto executive order stuff because there's nothing to come out on that. These are recommendations. These are reports. It's not going to be ironclad in the sand things. We're definitely not etching anything into stone. The other day, let's see. The other day we still have yet to see any movement in any of the crypto bills up on the Senate or in the House. Nothing there. Gillibrand is still in negotiations with Republican lead in their committee, and honestly, there's no reason to do any movement on anything right now until after the election. So, regulatorily speaking, I don't expect anything to come out of the Congress until after the midterms, and it's not even then is it going to be until because of the lame duck session. Until the new Congress gets sworn in January, then you'll have some traction that could occur. But regulatory and law like that, I'm not expecting anything to come, and that's just by looking at a calendar. That is not legal advice, not financial advice. Do your own research. Read something, people. Okay. Let me get back into the trending coins. There we go. There's the big boys. And I recognize nothing. Hey, look, at least they're honest. Look at that one. Alright. Yeah, I recognize none of this. See that polymath? That sounds familiar. I probably owned some of that a while ago. I think that was one of the ones that was given away for reading something on Coinbase, and then I washed it all away. We'll get into that later on in another journal entry. Okay, let's get into the fun part. Let's get back to Litecoin. DXY, a little bit of a stair step. Could we retrace back to that line there? That's that Fibonacci notch right there. It shows a little bit of a break on there. Could be a little bit of a bearish tone, but you got a double tap and a strong support through. So you could see towing that line a little longer. Dominance. Look at that. Breaking down, breaking down, breaking down, breaking down. You like the plaid? I love the plaid. I look at the plaid because moving this way, the vertical lines, is a time-based Fibonacci sequence, which you gear it off of a prior high low high structure, and then you can also with the let's take, there we go, and I can push this down. Actually, there, much better. Get out of my way. Add. Okay. We've broken that. And we've closed broken that. That's a confirmation breaking lower. The dominance is dropping. It's not a brick because it's been ever since September 1st we've had nothing but red days. That's 8 days straight. 8 red days on Bitcoin dominance. That could be a neck breaker right there. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was the last big drop off from 49 all the way down to 44. And that was 8 days straight. We could see more drop. So let's jump over Litecoin, my favorite chart. This trajectory going back up here. This is just an arbitrary line that I had for. It was just based off of just merely measuring out time-based sequences. And I drew this line on here just as kind of like what I had as a feeling, and it turns out my feeling was right. I had that line drawn a long time ago. If we go back to other videos, if I had recorded them started a long time ago, you'd see this line was still there. Anyways, I'm talking about this line right here. I'm going to change it to green. This line I drew based off of an explosion off this bottom line here, what I think it has to go. Just so happens to also fall in line with the moving averages, which weren't there before either. So, always had a little bit of a cushion on the bottom with that moving average, if you see that right there. We're stair-stepping on those. Love that one right there. We could find another. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Calling it. This is another range in between. I think Litecoin's headed in this way for a while. Higher if Bitcoin breaks faster, because remember, this is the pairing of Litecoin to Bitcoin. This is Litecoin's value to Bitcoin's value, and when considered against each other, it's just like XRP to USD. I'm exchanging one for the other. What this tells me is that Bitcoin's value is going down, not necessarily as fast or as hard as the US dollar value against Litecoin is going down. This is the chart that shows us Litecoin versus USD. As we can see, it is not nearly in the free fall or the recurring, the very bullish nature of Litecoin BTC. In fact, Litecoin USD is going down. We're going to roll off the table again. Does that mean that the value of the dollar is going to go up considerably? Are we expecting the DXY to rocket again higher? Well, there's room in the Fibonacci to let it happen. So is something terrible going to happen to Bitcoin that ruins the value of it? A huge crater, an enormous altcoin jump in comparison? Because if we also look at XRP to Bitcoin, it's also following the same line, the same formation as Litecoin to Bitcoin. See that? See that arc? We've got this capitulation, V bottom, retest, accumulation. Is it going to roll off the table? Or is it going to fire off ahead because of Bitcoin's vulnerability right now? Just heard there's something in one of the executive orders, some recommendation that they ban proof of work because it's energy intensive, and that's complete bullshit. It's all FUD because anybody who is sourcing energy in the United States is looking for the cleanest, cheapest that you can find. And right now, the cleanest, cheapest that you can find is solar and wind. Those are both renewable. Those are already green. So it's negated. The only argument you could get that proof of work is then still extremely wasteful of energy is that we aren't using energy correctly in this country. And if we have conservation issues in other industries, but long before we get into cryptocurrency, that's all I gotta say. So, this is an exciting XRP chart. This is a very exciting XRP chart. It's creepy. Because if you look at this XRP chart, and if we bump those there, that jump is the entire moving average range. You can see the entire scope of the moving average jump. That's up to 74 cents. XRP could spike to 74 cents. Again, psychological barriers in this market because that's just a number. But it's 3 quarters versus 4 quarters. And when people see numbers going in and deep whale pockets start seeing their BTC or their CBDCs or their USDC start to get called into question, we could see a flight from stable coins into altcoins. Never thought about that. Think about it. If countries start to roll out their own CBDCs and they don't like stable coins and they start barring people from transacting in stable coins in their country and only using the country's CBDC, anyways, who knows? You could see a flight from the stablecoin industry. And let's take a look at the stable coins. Just look at all of them. 68 billion, 55 billion, Binance 20 billion, DAI. You could see people have to flight from those and go back into altcoins to protect their own value, because you can remember that some of these people aren't ready to realize these kind of gains, or maybe in a politically sensitive situation and can't realize those gains. A whole mess of considerations that you have to take into consider when you excise the value that you've gained from the market that you've invested in. So if you're in, say, Europe, and the Euro CBDC rolls out, what if they say you can't transfer your Tether over into it because Tether has exposure to some sanctions problem, or the Ethereum network that Tether has been on is connected to Tornado Cash, and we're not going to take that here, so you're out all of your stablecoin. Well, what you could do is on decentralized DEX, you take your stablecoin in and you move it over to altcoins, and from there you can see about what you can pull into your country's CBDC. But if that's a rule that comes around with CBDC, stable coins could be the way of the dodo. Just an opinion. And with that, I've already bit off more than I can chew. So we're going to leave it on that. Some wishful thinking. I'm going to bid you adieu. I did it with wrong hand.